Hi, I'm Jim Taylor. Welcome to another video in this In Favor teaching series titled, Your Words Are Powerful. This is what God says about what you say. And this is technically the 22nd video in this series, but we're calling it 16C because it's actually the third of three in this section on blessing. In the first one, 16A, we talked about God blessing us and how He gives us these many spiritual and material benefits. In the second one, 16b, we looked at how we can bless others, following the example God has set for us, passing spiritual and material benefits to other people. Now in this one, in 16c, you'll want to download the handout from infavorresources.com and follow along as we look at how we bless God Himself. Now, how is that even possible? Well, there's a story in the box on your handout from The Fiddler on the Roof, where the rabbi is asked, is there a blessing for the czar? And the rabbi immediately responds, of course. May God bless and keep the czar far from us. And everybody just laughs and laughs about that. And later in the movie, he's asked, well, is there a blessing for a sewing machine? And the rabbi responds, there is a blessing for everything. And that's not an exaggeration. In Judaism, there is a blessing for almost everything and every situation. And this isn't some quaint or picturesque tradition. This is what God tells His people in Deuteronomy 8. When you have eaten and are satisfied, you shall bless the Lord your God for the good land which He has given you. Now, this is a command, not a suggestion or an encouragement. God expects us to bless Him. In order to fully obey this command, the Jewish people developed a tradition of offering short, specific prayers of blessing throughout the day, from the instant they awoke until the moment they fell asleep. And according to Spangler and Tverberg in their amazing book, Sitting at the Feet of Rabbi Jesus, this has been the practice of many Jews from Moses' time, continuing through Jesus' day, and is still being observed today. Now, these blessings customarily began with the phrase, blessed are you, O Lord, or blessed is he who. Here's some examples. There was a blessing for waking up at the crow of the rooster. Blessed is he who was given the rooster understanding to distinguish between day and night. That's the first thing you would say, hearing that sound. As you opened your eyes in the morning, you would have prayed this blessing. Blessed is he who opens the eyes of the blind. And there was pretty much a blessing for every other body part that you thought about and moved and felt before you got out of bed, if it was still in working order. Then there was a blessing for going to bed, and there was one for good weather, and there was a blessing for stormy weather. For instance, when hearing the first thunderclap, you would say, blessed is he whose strength and power fill the world. When seeing the lightning, you'd exclaim, blessed is he who made creation. If a rainbow appeared, the blessing was this. Blessed is he who remembers the covenant, is faithful to his covenant, and keeps his promise. And there was a blessing for times of grief. Blessed is he who is the true judge. And there was one for special celebrations, especially if this occasion was an event that you'd waited for a long time. Blessed is he who has allowed us to live and sustained us and enabled us to reach this day. Believe it or not, there was even a blessing for going to the bathroom. And if this seems frivolous, it's not, because when you reach a certain age, you realize that if something is blocked there or everything's not working on time, it really affects your comfort and even your health. So here's the blessing. Blessed is he who has formed man in wisdom and created in him many orifices and many cavities. It is obvious and known before your throne of glory that if one of them were to be ruptured or one of them blocked, it would be impossible for a man to survive and stand before you. Blessed are you that heals all flesh and does wonders. And I say amen to that. So you see, the rabbi was telling the truth. There is a blessing for everything. Now, knowing that as background helps us understand more about several of the blessings that we see played out in the life of Jesus. In fact, before learning all this, I didn't understand those passages as I should have. Matthew 14, this is the feeding of the 5,000. Taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, Jesus looked up to heaven and said a blessing. Some translations say gave thanks. Listen, he wasn't blessing the food like we do today. That's our tradition. This isn't the blessing. This isn't saying, Lord, bless this food to the nourishment of our body. The blessing for breaking the bread at the beginning of a meal was this: blessed is he who brings forth bread from the earth. Do you see? You're blessing God at mealtime, not the food. And so Matthew doesn't even tell us what Jesus said because he didn't have to. It was the common blessing that every family expected to hear from their father at the beginning of a meal. Matthew 9, this is after healing the paralytic. But when the multitude saw this, they were filled with awe and glorified God. And this is probably what they would have said, the blessing that was prayed at a site where God had performed a miracle. Blessed is he who has performed a miracle in this place. Many people would have been saying that on that occasion. Luke 17, talking about the healing of the 10 lepers. One of them came back praising God in a loud voice. Jesus asked, well, what about the other 10? What about the other 9? Was no one found to return and give praise to God except this foreigner? Praising God in a loud voice, giving praise to God, those are referring to the blessings that would have been given when God had healed from a terrible illness or delivered from great danger. The blessing went like this: blessed is he who does good to the undeserving and has rendered every kindness to me. Isn't it interesting that Jesus is wondering why people aren't blessing God? And could he be wondering that today? Take a moment to think about it. How has God blessed you? What has he done for you? What are you thankful for? Has he delivered you? Has he provided for you? Has he blessed your children? Has he fed and clothed your family? And so on and so on and so on. How can we turn God's blessings to us into our blessing of God? Well, you can start by saying out loud, blessed are you, O Lord, for, and then you fill in the blank. And at this moment, you can read along with me from your handout. Psalm 103, which is a psalm of blessing. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me. Bless his holy name. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget none of his benefits, who pardons all your iniquities, heals all your diseases, satisfies your years with good things so that your youth is renewed like the eagle. Oh, the Lord is compassionate and gracious, slow to anger and abounding in loving kindness, and on and skip down there to verse 20 now. Bless the Lord, you, his angels. Bless the Lord, all you hosts. Bless the Lord, all you works of his. Bless the Lord, O my soul. So as God blesses you, and as you in turn become a blessing to others, make sure you turn back those blessings in thanksgiving, in praise, and worship as you bless God. Next up, the exact polar opposite of blessing, cursing. How people curse you, how you curse others, and how you may be cursing yourself. Hope to see you then.